Welcome back, guys. It is Championship Racing once again here at SARCO. This is round 3 of the LMP2, proudly brought to you by Thrustmaster and Mettlestate. We're head to Imola for 45 minutes. The weather is clear, but there is rain expected. We have a 10-minute practice and we'll determine the starting positions with a 15-minute qualifier. So let's take a look at the starting lineup. In 14th place is Roy for the lone races, and he's behind Rudy. Rudy puts himself in 13th place for Synergy Racing. Moving forward to row number 6, and Andrew for the green numbers, he's in 12th, and he's just behind Memo, racing for Chasing Beavers. Memo starting off in 11th place. We have a privateer joining us, Ashley. He starts off in 10th place, and he's behind the 9th place Mel driving for TTR. In the 4th row is Ronaldo. He starts off in 8th place for Shake and Bake, and he's behind Roy's partner Craig, racing for the Lone Racers. In 6th place is Ross for Project Cat Racing, and he's behind the 5th place Durkee. Durkee driving for Tosco 1. We move forward to row number 2, and Jakes for the Black Mumbers. He starts off in 4th place, and he's behind Marius for Silverback Racing. And the front row looks as follows. Charles, he's in 2nd place for Tosco 1, and he's behind Bruno for Silverback. Bruno taking pole position. As we await for the green lights here in Imola, it is a green light and away we go. Both Bruno and Charles have got off the line cleanly. It looked like Durkee, he too got a great start coming off the line. As we are coming into turn number 2, a little clip from behind. Big pile up there. It looked like at least 6 cars were involved with that. Charles now rejoining the track. But it is Jakes that he leads away going into turn 3 with Ross in 2nd. That's Bruno in 3rd place. Then we have Ashley, and that is Craig, then Ronaldo. We jump on board with Bruno as he exits out of turn number 7, starting to put some pressure here on Ross. They come to turn number 8. Ross is a little bit wide. That opens a door for Bruno, and he's made an easy overtake in the end there. So Bruno can now put his head down and start chasing down the race leader Jakes. So there you can see Jakes leads with Bruno 2nd, Ross, Ash. A little contact between Durkee and Ronaldo. Ronaldo taking the grass route, but he is now unfortunately dropped down, and that is Andrew. He's moved himself way up this field, having started down in 12th place. Well, Ronaldo just missing his braking marker there. I think just a little bit of dirt on those tires, so it didn't give him enough of the stopping power coming down that hill into turn number 14. And we look at our race leader coming into turn number 2. That as he does it, we'll just bring up the positions. So Jake leads with Bruno 2nd. Ross, he's in 3rd place with Ashley in 4th. That is Andrew, having come up from 12th place, he finds himself 5th. Durkee, he's in 6th place with Rudy 7th. Craig, he's dropped down the order to 8th. Ronaldo will seem to have just changed places there with Craig. Roy, he's in 10th place with Jacques in 11th. Charles, he's down in 12th with Memo 13th, and Marius down in 14th position. We come further down the field. Well, there's a little tap on the back of Ronaldo sending him off. That's Craig. He's now gone wide, as well as his partner. A little touch on the back of Craig as he rejoins, but that is Ronaldo and Craig into it. Craig comes back onto the track. It did look like he was out of control, unfortunately going straight back into Charles. See those rear wings all over the track. That was Ronaldo. He's now joining without a rear wing. We chase Andrew, and just behind him, we'll just pan the car around. There's Durkee for Tosco 1. He started to close the gap here on Andrew as they come through turns 11 and 12. Well, Durkee got a little bit unstable as he hit that inside curb. And heading down the hill into turn number 14. Durkee is already putting a lot of pressure here on Andrew. And there's that distinctive sound of that V6. So they across the line to begin a lap number 3. I'm just wondering whether Durkee will have a look here on Andrew into turn number 2. Andrew's too far away for Durkee to put an attack on him. This is the battle for 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th place. And in 7th place, that is Rudy. He started 13th on the grid. So it seems that the first corner incident really did help him. The tricky turn 9 and 10. What I like to do is just jump in the cockpit just so you can see what this track is like. We'll get on board with Durkee as he chases down Andrew. Well, Durkee a little bit wide, he might get a time penalty, but he's definitely attacking Andrew. There you can see Durkee just coming off their power, not wanting to get a time penalty served to him. Turn number 15, and this is now back onto the very long start-finish straight. This is across the line, one of the back markers here into this is turn number 2, straight into turn 3 and flat out through turn number 4. You can see Rudy, he hasn't let Durkee get away. That was turn number 5 into turn number 6, and hold on the brakes here, turn number 7. Well, Andrew taking a little bit of that curb, and he unfortunately allowed Durkee to go around the outside. So a great overtake there for Durkee. Back up the hill through turn number 8, very tricky. The car does tend to want to just drift out slightly. Then back down the hill into the double right-hander, turns 9 and 10. You can see just how the exit tightens up here, so you've really got to be careful. But Durkee are now looking to go around the outside into this hard braking zone. Turn number 11, a little contact between Ashley and Durkee, but they both seem to be okay. Down the hill of this little kink, turn number 13, hard on the brakes just before the bump. Oh, that is Ashley. He's spun it out. That's allowed Andrew to get right up behind Durkee. So coming out of turn number 15, Durkee, he is now in 4th place with Andrew in 5th. That is Rudy now up into 6th place, and unfortunately Ashley, he's now dropped down to 7th. Race leader Jakes has Bruno right up behind him, coming into turn number 11 and turn number 12. It looks like Bruno got the much better drive, just squeezing himself through on the inside as they approach turn number 13. That puts Jakes on the inside, Bruno on the outside, but Bruno goes around the outside, makes it an easier overtake in the end. So Bruno is now the new race leader with Jakes right behind him. So a driver who has been quiet this race so far, we're on lap number 5. This is actually Marius, but he's been quietly closing the gap as he goes around the outside of Ashley into turn number 9. A very brave move there for Marius. He did go off in that first corner incident to regain the track in last place. That was down in 14th. And I see he's just been fighting his way through this field. to try and regather some points here for this race in Imola. Hard on the brakes down into turn number 14. We'll take a little bit of curb into turn 15 and back down the start finish line, where his next target is Rudy. So we're back with our race leader Bruno. You can see that he's opened that gap ahead of Jake's. We'll bring up the current positions, and Bruno leads with Jake in second. Ross is in a very quiet third place. Dirkie, he's now up into fourth place with Andrew fifth. Rudy's down into sixth. Morris is in seventh place. Ashley, he's now in 8th with Charles in 9th. Memo is in 10th place with Jacques in 11th. Roy 12th. Craig in 13th place and Ronaldo in 14th position. We're coming to the end of lap number 7. Well, that's Ashley gone a little bit wide, and that allowed Charles to sneak up on the inside of him, coming through turn number 15. Charles, he too, having gone off into that first corner, has had to work his way through the field. We've just seen Morris go past, then that is Rudy, followed by Charles and Ashley in picture in car number 4. We're on board with Rudy, and you could just hear the tone of this V6 compared to the other guys in the V8s. We'll just pan around, and you can see Charles from Tosca 1 starting to close the gap, and I'm sure he'll be applying some pressure to Rudy any moment soon. Well, Rudy running a little bit wide, that's going to possibly give him a slowdown into turn number 9. Then a tighten up into turn 10. Well, a little oversteer moment there for Charles, who wasn't able to get the power on and get the drive up the hill. Little oversteer moment there for Rudy, so he would have lost traction, which is going to allow Charles to go around the outside. That will set him up for the inside for turn number 13. But Rudy is not backing down into the braking zone, turn number 14. Charles is able to just go around the outside, having had a little bit more momentum on the wider, faster line. They will cross line. I'll just bring up the current positions here on lap number 8. Bruno leads with Jakes in second, Ross is third with Dirkie, he's in fourth, Andrews 5th, Marius 6th, Rudy now down to 7. Oh, unfortunately, big accident there. That looked like it was Ashley going into the back of Charles. This was Ashley, unfortunately, on the brakes too late, just collecting the back of Charles. You can see Ashley is still having locked up those brakes. That sends Charles off, and that unfortunately forces his retirement. We're now just about halfway through this race, and Morris is starting to close the gap on Andrew. Down through turn number 13, and just after the little dip onto the brakes. Turn in hard, turn number 14. Just let a little bit of the curb on the inside. Let the car just drift up, but trying not to go too wide. Is the time penalties on that exit are very strict, and it will cost you about 2 seconds down this start finish line. And I do think that Morris did get a slowdown coming out of turn number 12, because you can just see that all of a sudden Andrew had opened up a gap away from him. Starting their 11th lap, Morris has once again closed the gap down on Andrew. And it's about this time where we are expecting some rain. Morris not close enough just yet to pounce and attack. But here into the hard braking zone, turn and number 7, we'll see if Morris was able to get a better drive coming out of the corner. Back up the hill here into turn and number 8. It was on this corner where Morris actually landed up going around the outside of Ashley. Morris starting to get into overtaking position. Just want to bring up the current lap times so we can see that Morris is indeed going faster than Andrew, and he is doing about the same times that Dirk is doing at the moment. We see Ross, he's moved up. I just wonder if Jakes has got into the pits. I think Jakes might be taking the rain tires a little bit earlier than expected. We'll hear both. Andrew goes past, not hearing Marius, so there Marius, he will now peel off into the pits. So unfortunately what we do not see in the replay is that when the rain starts we actually don't see it. We'll only start seeing the spray coming off the track. Rudy has now gone past into 5th place. There's Dirkie, his 2 has stopped in the pits. Craig has gone past without pitting. So we'll jump to the race leader Bruno just to see whether he will pit on this lap. Here he comes out of the last corner. So he's decided not to take those rain tires just yet. Just a jump back to Ross, because he too has not pitted. Ross has also decided to do one more lap on the softs. And there's Andrew, you can see his windscreen wipers are going. So it is definitely raining. He will now peel off into the pits. We'll just jump down to Rudy. Rudy's now coming down past turn number 13. Well, big lock up there for Rudy. I think those slicks are starting to get extremely slippery. So Rudy will peel in. Next in line will be Jakes. That's one of the lone racers following Rudy in. There's Jakes going past. So Jakes will go past Andrew as well as Rudy. Now it all depends whether Bruno will come in on this lap. So Bruno, he will now peel into the pits to go and get those wet tires. That is Ross. He's now exiting out of turn number 13. You can start seeing the track is starting to get wet. There is still a bit of a dry line, but as the rain will continue. Oh, Ross gets it very sideways and he puts himself off coming out of the last corner. So that's definitely going to cost him time. We'll just jump down to Jakes. Jakes is coming out of turn number 10. So Bruno is now leading the pit. Ross is now stopped in that pit. And Jakes currently on the wet tires. He is hurling himself down through turn number 13. I just want to see if that mistake has actually cost Ross that position. You can hear Ross has started moving. but Jakes will come past, and Jakes will move himself back into second place. Ross is still coming through the pit entry. Durkee, he went off in turn number 14, so unfortunately he will not be taking that place from Ross. So definitely a lot of action happening here with the rain having come in. Another driver that has lost out in the rain was Marius, is that he was right up behind Andrew when the pit started. But you can see that he is now a further 10 seconds behind Andrew, currently in a 6th position. Lap number 17, and Marius is closing the gap on Andrew. As Andrew crosses the start finish, I'll bring up the current positions. So Bruno leads with Jakes in second, Ross is in third. I never knew that the cats like water. In 4th place is Durkee with Andrew in second, being very much closed down. Marius getting 3 seconds a lap on Andrew. Rudy, he's in 7th place with Ronaldo 8th. Memo, he's in 9th place with Jacques in 10th. Craig down in 11th place, and Scholl, unfortunately, he having retired, and Roy disconnecting. We did seem to lose Ashley. I'm not sure whether he had left or he had retired, but we're not seeing him here on the positions anymore. I do want to just keep this action right here, because that there is Durkee currently in 4th place, Andrews in 5th with Morris in 6th. Looking at the lap time, so Andrew and Durkee are doing pretty much the same times, but it is Marius that is going 3 seconds quicker than both of them. Well, that's Andrew very wide coming out of turn number 12. So we're not seeing it as mentioned before, but the rain should still be falling. Well, Andrew a little bit wide coming out of turn number 14. But Andrew, he's now closed up this gap on Durkee, and Morris has closed the gap up on Andrew, so we're going to have a very interesting next 2 laps. Let's look at the time difference. It looks like Durkee might have made a mistake. He had done a 1:46, Andrew improving on his time in a 1:42, but it's Marius is still doing that 1:40. Oh, Andrew's wide coming out of turn number 4. That's going to be an easy overtake for Marius, and I'm sure he'll be kicking himself with that, because he was definitely up for taking a place over Durkee. On board with Marius coming out of turn number 15. He's right up behind Durkee. You can see the conditions that the guys are racing in. Marius moves to the inside. Currently a side by side into the braking zone. Marius lets Durkee go. Durkee a little bit out of control. Marius tucking up right behind him. Little oversteer moment there for Durkee coming on the power out of turn number 4. Both drivers tentative through 5 and 6. Little oversteer there for Durkee that puts him to the outside. Marius tries to sneak up on the inside. Marius really hounding Durkee at the moment. Andrew just trying to get back into this fight. Down the hill towards turn number 9. Durkee is wide, a little slip there unfortunately, and that's Andrew going right up the back of Marius. I don't think Andrew would have seen them stuck there. He would have been watching that braking marker. So very, very unfortunate there for Marius. So this is what it would have looked like from Andrew. He would not have seen them stop there. So very unfortunate. So unfortunately Marius are not able to get the car back to the pits. so he unfortunately has to retire. And unfortunately we do not get the full replay. So Bruno, he will cross the line in first place with Jakes in second. Ross for Project Cat Racing, he will finish in third place with Andrew bringing home the damaged car in fourth. Durkee for Tosco Watton, he will come home in fifth with Rudy down in sixth place. Very convincing position there for him. Memo, he too will score some points in seventh with Ronaldo in eighth. Jacques, he will come home in ninth place with Craig in 10th. And unfortunately Marius, Charles, Roy and Ashley, we lose. So thank you very much guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, give it a like, subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to hit that notification button. If you'd like to find out more on how you can compete with us, all the details are in the description below for our website, Facebook page, as well as our Discord. We'll be back in 2 weeks time, so until then, keep racing and we'll see you soon, yos.